Welcome to Skytech-Lens. Good evening. Tonight, we're talking about John Deere, the iconic green and yellow machinery that's as American as apple pie. For 185 years, that leaping Deere logo has been the backbone of American agriculture. But now, Deere is shifting a chunk of its U.S. production to Mexico, citing declining sales and rising expenses. This move has ignited political drama, with Donald Trump threatening a 200% tariff on Deere equipment made in Mexico. But this isn't just about one company. It's about globalization, political posturing, and the real impact on American communities, so buckle up. This is the story of how America's agricultural backbone is bracing for a major fallout. John Deere has long been a symbol of American ingenuity, but now it's facing a storm of economic headwinds. In July 2024, Deere announced closures of several U.S. plants, over 600 jobs gone in Iowa and Illinois, with another 287 to follow by 2025. Why? Sales plunged 18% in the second quarter, and farmers aren't buying new equipment with high interest rates and low crop prices. Warehouses are overflowing with unsold machines, so Deere is moving production of smaller loaders to Mexico by 2026 to cut costs. Politicians see this as a betrayal, and Trump's threatened tariffs could backfire, making things even tougher for Deere. This isn't just about one factory, it's a symptom of a larger economic disease. The ripple effects are spreading, with Deere caught between angry politicians and the harsh realities of the global market. Meanwhile, ongoing trade wars are piling on costs, and the real pain is being felt by the company and its customers. The green and yellow machines are rolling into a battlefield of tariffs, and casualties are mounting. The stakes are high, and there are no easy answers. As the headlines focus on closures and threats, the real story is about the communities and livelihoods at risk. Deere's struggle is a high-stakes drama playing out in real time. Let's see how tariffs are making things even worse. Tariffs, meant to protect but often self-inflicted wounds. Deere paid $100 million in tariffs this quarter alone, with a potential $500 million hit next year. That's a massive drag, especially for divisions relying on global markets. Deere is lobbying for relief under the USMCA and shifting production to avoid costly import taxes. But these costs are landing on farmers, with price hikes of 2–4% expected on 2026 models. For a $500,000 combine, that's a big deal. Behind the scenes, Deere's teams are scrambling, renegotiating contracts, redesigning parts, and hunting for efficiencies. The real poison here is uncertainty. Trade rules change overnight, making long-term planning nearly impossible. Farmers and Deere alike are left guessing what tomorrow will bring. The result? A cycle of anxiety and rising costs for everyone. Now let's look at how these pressures are hitting home in America's heartland. The human toll is mounting. Behind every layoff is a family, a neighbor, a community. Since 2020, over 1,800 Iowans have lost their jobs at Deere, with hundreds more on the line. These aren't just numbers. They're the lifeblood of towns built around the Deere logo. Lawmakers are pushing for companies that take state tax credits to pay some back if they cut jobs, arguing for fairness. Deere says it's just business, but for workers packing up after decades, that's cold comfort. The impact ripples out shuttered stores, for sale signs, and a loss of community identity. Local economies stagger as diners, hardware stores, and dealerships lose customers. The domino effect threatens entire regions, eroding the promise of a stable middle-class life. The pain isn't just in factory towns, it's spreading to the fields, where farmers face their own crisis. The customers Deere depends on are struggling, making tough choices that hit Deere's bottom line. The fallout is both economic and deeply personal. As communities reel, the pressure on farmers grows. Let's see how they're coping. American farmers are under pressure like never before. High interest rates make financing new equipment nearly impossible, while low crop prices slash incomes. Trade wars have closed off key export markets, leaving farmers with surplus crops and shrinking profits. The result? Farmers are delaying big purchases, patching up old tractors, and turning to used equipment. Local Deere dealerships are feeling the pinch. New sales slump, used inventory is scarce, and repair demand is soaring. Part shortages and long wait times add to the frustration, especially during critical planting and harvest seasons. The psychological toll is real. Uncertainty and caution rule the day. Farmers are holding back, worried about what tomorrow might bring. This hesitation ripples through the entire supply chain, hitting suppliers, truckers, and ultimately Deere itself. Supporting these loyal but struggling customers is crucial for Deere's future. But while farmers tighten their belts, Deere is making some massive bets on what comes next. Let's look at their plan for the future. Despite the turmoil, Deere isn't giving up. It's investing $20 billion in U.S. operations over the next decade. That's a huge commitment, aimed at modernizing factories with robotics, AI, and new production lines. They're expanding in Missouri, Iowa, and building a new plant in North Carolina. The goal: make American facilities so advanced that moving production elsewhere doesn't make sense. It's about survival and sending a message. Deere is still committed to Made in America. But there's no guarantee these investments will pay off if customers can't afford the products or tariffs drive up costs. Earning back trust is key. Deere must prove it's still the farmer's partner. These projects are a test. Can a legacy company weather a global storm through innovation at home? But none of this matters if Deere can't fix its biggest headache: supply chain chaos. Let's see how that's playing out. The future depends on more than just shiny new factories. It's about keeping promises and machines moving. Here's the silent challenge Deere faces. Supply chain chaos is the invisible crisis behind Deere's headlines. Building complex machines means relying on thousands of parts from around the world, and right now, it's a mess. Semiconductor shortages and rising steel prices have stretched production times by up to 6 months. A missing $2 chip can delay a $500,000 tractor for an entire season. Deere is scrambling sourcing parts closer to home, pushing for tariff exemptions, and joining federal logistics programs to track shipments. But even with these efforts, uncertainty remains. For farmers, delays can mean the difference between a good year and disaster. Timing is everything in agriculture, and trust is on the line. Deere's ability to solve these logistical nightmares is as critical as any investment. If they can't deliver, they risk losing their most valuable asset: customer confidence. The supply chain is the bedrock of their business. Now let's bring it all together. John Deere is navigating a perfect storm: economic volatility, political pressure, and global uncertainty. Layoffs and production shifts highlight harsh realities, but a $20 billion investment signals a commitment to America's future. For communities and farmers, this is a test of resilience and trust. Deere's future depends on innovation, adaptation, and earning back loyalty. But this isn't just Deere's story, it's about all of us. What do you think? Will Deere's big bets pay off? How are these changes affecting your community? Share your thoughts below. Thanks for watching. Subscribe the channel now for more updates. Thanks.